Hi guys, this is Wesley from West Empire. So today I want us to look at Flexbox. I want us to use Flexbox, CSS Flexbox to come up with this simple layout here. So Flexbox makes it quite easy to design the layout of a website compared to using floats and positions. So the first thing we need to do is visualize on how our layout will look like. So this is how our layout will be. We'll divide our layout into various parts. The first thing is we'll have a container, or we'll create a container. A container will hold everything in here for our layout. Then inside our container, we'll have the header part. The header part will hold this heading here and this picture. Then we'll have columns. So we'll have the first column here. Then inside this column, we'll have these three small columns. This is what I'm calling these calls here. Then we'll have a second column, and inside that column, we'll have these two small columns inside. So with this in mind, we can jump in and see how we will do that. So I'll float this to the side so that we keep it there and watch it as we work on. So I've opened my editor here. On my editor, I've created a folder called Flexbox. So in this folder, I have two subfolders. One is the image. It contains this banner image, this one, which we'll use at the top here. Then I have a folder style, which is empty at the moment. So let's get into putting things together. So the first thing, I'll come here, I'll add a new file, which I'll call index.html. That will hold the content for our website. Then I'll come inside the style here now, and I'll add a new file which I'll call style.css. Perfect. So we have our styles file and we have our index file. So let's jump in and do this. We'll start with the index file so that we put things together. So I'll do a template. I'll open a template for the HTML. I'm using VS Code editor, so I'll do control space then HTML, and I'll get my sample there. So the page title, we'll call these let's call it Flexbox. Yeah. Then my script, I don't have any JavaScript at the moment, so I'll eliminate that part. Then my style here, these are reference to my folder, which is the styles folder. Then inside the styles folder, I'll pick my CSS. Now that one is set. I'm ready to go. Now let's come back to our layout here and see what we need to do. So the first thing we need to do is have a container. So inside my body here, I'll do a div with a container, a class container. So with CSS, with VS Code, I can just do full stop container and hit enter, and it will create for me that container for my content. And I'll hit enter. The next thing I'm supposed to have is a header to hold these two parts here. So I'll come and do a header. So there is my header. Inside my header, I'm having a heading, a h1 there, and apart from the h1, I'm having an image. There we are. So I'm done with that part. So first thing I'm doing is I'm layering it out. Then I'll come and enter the content. So I'm done with that. We move to the next part. The next part is now this column here with subcolumns. So we'll create a div with a class of a column. So again, I'll do full stop column, and I'll hit enter, and I have my column there. Then inside this column, I have other small three columns inside here. So I'll do again the first column. There it is. So the first column is this one here. The first column has a heading here and a paragraph. So we'll do that. So it has a heading, a H2, and it has a paragraph. Perfect. There we are. So we'll exit out of that div and come and do the other container now. Not the other column here. So the other column again, dot col. There it is. Inside this again, we have a heading and we have two paragraphs. This is the first paragraph starting here, ending here. Then we have another paragraph starting here and ending here, and inside the paragraph we have a list. So let's put that together. So the first thing is a H2, then we have a paragraph, then another paragraph. Inside this paragraph we have a list, so an ordered list, li. It has 3 items, 1, 2, 3, so we'll have 3 of them. Perfect. So that one is done. That one ends there. Now the next thing is the last column here for this section. So down here again, down here I'll do the last one. So dot col there. So the last column has only a paragraph. So we'll do a paragraph there, and we are done. We are done with this column. So we are supposed to come to this other column here that has 3 sub columns. So my column here stops my column here stops here. So I'll exit out of that and do another column now. So dot column, so that I get my div with a class column. There it is. Then inside this column I'll have some small columns. So the first one, column 1. So the first one has a heading, so H2. It has 3 paragraphs, the first one ending here, the next one ending here and here. So we put our 3 paragraphs. So paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and paragraph 3. There we are. So then we have the last one here, the last column, which is just a paragraph. So exit out of that div, then do a call to get a class column. Then inside there we have agreed it has 1 paragraph. Perfect. So that is, so I've finished setting up my work or my layout. Now I can come in and enter the content. So I have my content ready, so I'll just do copy pasting here and there. So the first part here is the heading, getting started with Flexbox. So I'll grab that and I'll come here and I put it. The next thing is my image, which is in my folder image here, and it is banner. So backslash image, image folder img, then I'll get my banner .jpg, then the alt text I can just say banner. Perfect. Then we come to the next column here. The next column, can always check here, welcome to Flexbox, so which is this part. Come here, grab these, put it there in my heading, then the next paragraph, so grab the paragraph, throw it in there. So let me change these to toggle wrap so that we see what's happening. Yeah, so we are done with the first paragraph. We come to the next paragraph here by Flexbox, and so the first thing we grab is the heading here. So there is our heading. Then we grab the first paragraph. That is right in there. Then we grab the next paragraph. Grab the next paragraph. There it is. Put it in. Then we have our list items. So the first item, grab that, put it in the first list. the second item. There we go. In the second. Then here we have the last item of our list. So last item of our list. There we go. Now we are done with that. So we are moving on to the third column, which is this one here, which is just a paragraph, and the content is here. So grab that and come in here, put it there. So we already have that part. Now let's see. Now we are coming to the second column here, which has two small columns. So let's put that in together. So the first thing is the heading. Grab my heading, put it in there. Then our first paragraph, grab that, put it in. And our second paragraph, grab that, put it, and our last paragraph for that small column. There we go. Perfect. Now we are remaining in the last paragraph for the last column, which is just a paragraph. So I'll grab this paragraph here and I'll put it in there. Perfect. Let me move these bits here. Perfect. So there it is. I'm done with that. So now basically that is how our page should look like. Now I'll save that, then open it in our browser and see. So I'm using an extension called Live Server. This extension allows me to see changes immediately as I save them. So that's how our page looks like. You can see things are coming together. Now what we need to do is we need to style this thing and we see how it looks like. So I'll open this side to side with my editor so that we see what is happening. So I'll come to the style. So in my style, I like styling them in three ways. The first one is the general style. Then I have the topography. Then I have the layout. Now this is how I like styling my things. So the general styling here is the style I want to affect the whole document. Then the topography here is the content for the headings, the color, the size, such things. Then the layout is the general layout of how I want my page to look like. So let's start with the general layout here. So on the general layout, this is generally what I want. I'll give this a margin of 0, padding of 0 px also, pixels, and I'll do font family. So the font family here, let me go with sans serif. Then the last thing I want is the line height. So I want my line height to be 1.5 em. So now just observe here as I save these. So if I save, you can see the changes that have taken place here. Now we are done with that. Then now I'll deal with the topography here. So now the first thing I'll do here, I'll grab my H1 here, my heading. So H1, there it is. The first thing I want is to have a color, and I have this color to be the golden rod. Now you can name the color, you can use the hexadecimal. The next thing I want is the font size. I want this to be 30 pixels. The next thing is I want to align it to center. So text align, put it at the center. So if I save that, you can see the change that has happened there. The next thing I want is my H2, which are these headings here. So my H2, the color also, I want this color to be blue. Perfect. I want the size, the font size of this to be 20px. Save that. You can see it's there, 20px. Perfect. Now let's go to our layout so that we see how we'll style our page to be similar to what we want to achieve. So layout, the first thing I want to start with is the container. So remember a container here, the class is container. So I'll just grab this from here and put it there. So container, it is the first thing is I want my container to have a maximum width of 980 pixels. The next thing I want it to have a margin, to have a margin of 0 pixels, then outer. So this will push my content to the center. If I make this screen big, we can see now my content is aligned to the center. Perfect. So let's continue. So push that to the side there. The next thing I want to target here is my image. So why am I targeting my image? Let's see that. So if I make this screen big, my image is okay, but if I reduce and I try to minimize it, what happens is part of my image is cut out. So this is what I want to solve by targeting the image. So what I'll do with the image here, I'll give it a maximum width of 100%. Now if I save that and I try to reduce this browser, you will see that my image adapts. There is nothing cut out, it just adapts and reduces the size also. Okay, so with that out of the way, we can continue now. So I'll put this again back to the side here so that we continue. Now my image is done. The next thing I want to target now is my columns. Column. Now if we remember from our layout here, our columns are stacked or side to side, not one after the other. Now this is where Flexbox comes in. So we'll use Flexbox to achieve this simple layout. So what we need to do here is target our column, then display them as flex. So if I save that and we check our browser, you can see what we are achieving. Automatically our content is aligned now side to side. This is what Flexbox does. You can see we are almost achieving it. We just need to do a few layering here and there and a few styling so that we get it perfect. So let's continue. Now the next thing I want to do now is for my image here, I'll target these two columns here at the end and give them these light blue background. So how do we do that? So it's quite easy. I'll just go back to my HTML page and I'll get those columns. So this is the column here, and I'll give them a class. So I'll call this class bg all background. Then I'll just copy this here. I'll go to my last column here and I'll allocate it the same class. Save that, then come back to my style here. Now target that class bg, then I'll give it a background color of light blue there. Yeah, so if we save that now and we check, there we have our light blue. It is there. Now the next thing I want to do here is let me give them a bit of padding so that they move from the sides. So I'll do a padding of 10px. If I save that, now they are well aligned away from the margins. Now again, our content is quite near each other or close to each other, so I'll need to give these ones a bit of margin at the top. Now let's see how to do that. So I'll come here to my column. I'll give them margin 10 px, 0 px. Perfect. Now there is a bit of spacing in between them. I can see they are not that close together. Okay, now we can see our content is trying to come together, but it's a bit squashed or misplaced here and there. Now we need to solve these, and the way to solve these is giving our columns here some specific width. So let's do that. So I'll come back to my HTML file here, then I'll add some class in them. Now what you need to consider is what you need to see is the first column here is the same as this column and is the same as this, so we'll give these three a similar class. So I'll start with that, and I'll come to the first one here. I'll call these col1 or column1. Well, you can call it anything you want, but I'll just call it col1. So I'll copy these, and I'll come to my third column here, my third column, which is this one here, and I'll also give it that col1, and I'll come to my last one here also, and I'll give it that col1. Perfect. Then we have this column and this one that we've not given a class, so let's see how we do that. So I'll come here, I'll give this a class of col2, and this one I'll give it a class of col3 here. Now let's target those in our styling here. Now remember, you have col1, have col2, and lastly we have col3. Okay, now this one I'll give it a width of something, say 25%. Now if the first one takes 25%, and this is col1, and we give this a class of col1, and the last one here col1, so this one will take 25 and this one will take 25, that is 50. Out of 100 we are remaining with 50, so the second column 2 here will give it a width of 50%. Now we go to the third column here. So the third is this one. Remember, this one has already taken 25, so out of 100 whatever is remaining is 75 here, so this will take a width of 75%. This was 50%, sorry. Now if we save this and check our page, you can see things are starting to come out. So we are achieving our layout, or we are achieving what we wanted to do. Now what is happening here, we can see we are not having space in between these columns here. You can see the first column is just bumping into the second and so on, so we need to solve these to get that space in between. So with Flexbox it's quite easy. So we simply need to come to our column here where we displayed as flex, and what we simply need to do is we need to justify our content, then we give it space between. This one should make or should solve our problem, but what we need to do is now reduce these widths here so that we'll have some space left to be shared among these columns. So what I'll do is I'll reduce each by 3, so this will be 22. I'll give these 47, and I'll give these a 72%. If I save that now and I open my browser, you can see now we are having nice spaces in between them. Perfect. So generally we are almost done, but there's something small that we need to do. Now we need to make our content to be flexible, Right now, if we target small screens, let's try that and see. If we reduce our screen, we are not getting what we want. These items should drop and follow one after another in form of rows like. So we need to target this screen size and see how that happens. So we need to use a media query. So we'll come down here and use @media. Then I'm targeting a max of screen of max width of let's say 600 pixel. So if I hit 600 pixel, I need my columns. So I'll target my columns again. I need my columns to follow a different direction. So I'll just give them a flex direction of columns. So if I save that and I reduce my browser again, now you'll see my content is now breaking into rows and following one after each other. But again, now there is this, it's a bit weird, or it has a weird looking like. So the content is aligned to the left, then there is this big space left on the right side. So why are we seeing this? So we are seeing this because our columns here, we gave them specific width. So we need to tell the browser to display them in 100% width. So again, we'll just come in here and get our columns. So you can get one column at a time, or you can call all of them, then give them the width that you want. So I use the second option. So I'll do the first one, dot column1, comma, col2, comma, then the last one, col3, and sorry, like this to be on the next line, but still it will work. So col3, then I want this to have a width. I want the width to be 100%. Perfect. So if I save that, we can see our width is at 100%. Perfect. Now our work looks neatly well done, but now our content starts at the edge, the very edge of the browser, and this looks a bit weird. So we need to solve this one, and to solve this one here, we just need to come back to our container here and give this container a width of something, say 95%. Now if I do this, my content will be pushed from the margin here, and it will leave some space from the margin. So let's save that and see. Perfect. Now you can see my content now is not at the very margin, and this is the simplest way of achieving this layout using Flexbox. So I'm assuming, or I believe that this has helped someone, and now you'll be able to use Flexbox to come up with layouts of a website. So let me know if you like it. You can leave a comment, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for notification when we upload the next content. Thank you. See you.